right, Shanti, thank you so much for joining us. We've been getting a lot of queries about Let's Venture. You need no intro in the startup world. So I'll get straight to it. Can you tell us just briefly about Let's Venture and how do I get on it? Because that's the burning question that I've been getting asked a lot.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Anisha. And Let's Venture, as you know, I'm the co-founder and CEO of Let's Venture. This is my second venture, and we are based in Bangalore. The objective of the marketplace is to be the platform where early stage founders can come and connect to investors and raise their early stage fundraise on the platform, right? So it's typically targeting startup founders who are looking to raise anything from 1 crore to about 6 crores, want very personalized investors to come onto their cap table, as well as want all the paperwork, due diligence, everything done. So basically all the basics of investing done in one place through an online marketplace. Today, we have about 6,500 investors from 55 countries on the platform. We work with about 120 micro funds. And typically, we are the second, the first institution check which goes into the founders, into the startup, which is basically, we are not the family and friends round. We are basically the first formalized angel investing round you would raise as you build your venture.
Nice. Acha, and is there a particular criteria that I have to be at for you all to look at me? So, it's a two-pronged question. One, am I of a particular should I be belonging to a particular sector? I can be any startup. And second, should I have been at a certain threshold of development in my startup journey?
Yeah, so actually on the sector side, what we believe is you should be a tech-enabled company, right? Because finally we are still looking at angel investing, and angel investing by definition is actually something which is a high risk asset class, high risk investing, which gives you very high return. And the high return can only happen when the startup is able to raise multiple rounds of funding or scale exponentially, which by definition is enabled by technology, right? So it is not a offline stores or an offline bakery, so those kind of things don't fall under angel investing. Right? It is not that I don't support those entrepreneurs. It is just the nature of the business we are in, where the investors coming to the platform want to look at angel investing as the action they want to do on the platform. So that is one. Second is, as a founder, we prefer that you look at this round of funding once you have some traction built into your product, or you have some validation of customer adoption, right? So when I say traction, it's not like you have to have revenue. You have to have some validation that the product you're building has a relevance to the market you're building it for, right? Typically, a very early stage and ideation stage company does not get funded on an open platform or does not get funded on a marketplace, because that very first check again should come from people who know you, and who kind of are your family and friends, and because at that point of time there is very little analysis or very little proof that the idea you're working on could become a bigger idea, right? And typically then the investor needs to know the founder a lot better, which typically does not again happen when you go on an online marketplace.
Okay, so thanks for that. So now let me ask you this. I'm a startup. This is my first time doing it, hypothetically. Can you walk me through the process? How do I apply? Is there a set of rolling applications? What is the way to get in?
Yeah.
Do you all have criteria that I need to be aware of? And then will you help me with the pitch deck, valuation, all that as well?
Yes, yes. So we are an open platform, right? When I say open, it is free for founders. It is not an open platform where it is open to all investors. It is a managed, curated marketplace. And when I say managed, curated is because all the investors coming onto the platform are curated. We make sure that they are genuine investors. They are accredited investors so that they have the financial net worth to be investing into startups. In terms of managed, when I say, it is because once you create your profile, there is a team at Let's Venture which actually calls up the founders. So if your profile has been approved or we think that you're ready to fundraise, typically somebody from the Let's Venture team will call you in about within a week of you creating a profile on the platform, somebody from the marketplace calls you and then understands a little bit more detail. At that point of time also, we might decide that, you know, you may not want to raise a funding now, you may want to raise the funding maybe 3 months later, right? So depending again on the timing of the fundraise, we will then put you on to trending, as well as we will connect you to the 120 micro funds we are working on the platform, because sometimes it is very good to understand if there is a thesis fit with a micro fund who's writing a 500,000 or a 250 100k check, right? It's good to also get institutional investing there. And
Okay.
when you are in trending, the investors who log into the platform, if they start interacting with you, we know that there is interest from the investors as they start engaging with the startup on the platform.
Huh.
So based on all of these parameters, we then also decide whether you should be actively put into fundraise. That is one. That is when an entrepreneur has no one who is kind of backing his deal, right? But there are a lot of founders who come with us with a lead investor, with a term sheet, and they want to syndicate the round. Those deals are much faster, right? So then we work with the lead investor, we open the transaction on the platform, we reach out to our investors, and there you can kind of start the syndication process immediately.
All right. And what would Let's Venture typically, what does it mean for me in terms of you all charging? Is it a fee? Is it an equity-based model? That's my first question. And then how many people show up on my cap table, once
Yes.
investment is done?
Yes, actually, great question. So one is we don't take equity from founders, right? We only take a 2% transaction fee for the funds which are raised on the platform, and an additional 2% for all the paperwork which has to be done. So all the due diligence, financial due diligence, term sheet, SHA, call for money, share certificate. So that there is an operational process to fundraise that is taken care, as well as the process of getting investors to commit to your investment. So that is the only fee we charge from the founders. In terms of the cap table entry, we have a Let's Venture registered angel AIF, which basically means, and the qualification criteria to become an investor on the AIF is that as a financial side qualification, you have to have a 2 crore net asset outside your primary home. And plus, there are other several qualifications for you to become an angel investor. What Let's Venture has done is we curate all the angel investors, we do their KYC. Today, we have about 800 investors on the AIF, which where each of them has committed to investing 25 lakhs over the next 5 years. So this is almost like committed capital, but not drawn down capital, right? Because the AIF does not allow you to draw it down. It only allows you to get commitment from investors. So whenever we show a relevant deal to the investor, and if he likes the transaction, he can commit. And then the commitment goes through the angel AIF, which basically means there is only one single entity sitting on your cap table. So as a founder, you can have 30 investors, you can have 50 investors, but you'll have only one entity sitting on the cap table, and the investors will hold units of that scheme of the AIF.
Okay, thanks.
Yes.
How involved is that entity in my business? I mean, do you all then, is it depending on the amount of equity that is taken, or how involved are you? Are there certain, you know, rights that you all ask for?
Yeah, so we basically will follow the term sheet of the lead investor, right? So whatever terms are there, the AIF comes in the same terms. Right? We do reporting of for our investors. So if you take money from Let's Venture, you have to report it back to the AIF, which is then shared to the investors. So that Let's Venture shares the report in turn. So the founder just has to give us the report, and we in turn share it with the investors. Besides that, we have our own AIF filings where we actually work with SEBI, and we do all the regulatory part of managing that AIF.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Can I pick and choose the investors that I want to showcase my startup to, or have on my cap table?
Absolutely. I think a very integral part of Let's Venture is that we work for founders, right? We represent our founders. So as a founder, I would do what is best for you as a founder when you funds. So if you as a founder do not want particular investors, there is a stealth mode on the platform. So as a founder, you come to the platform, you create a complete Let's Venture profile. So you upload your team information, traction, competitive information, the pitch deck, all of the information is uploaded on the platform profile. If you think that you want which basically means that you can now choose who are the investors who will now view your cap table, right? Or who will view the profile of the startup on the platform, right? So you can actually then choose or block investors whom you don't want them to see, because that, I believe, is a very integral part of how founders look at fundraising. Yeah. A lot of them don't want everybody to know that they're fundraising. A lot of them are completely okay with everybody knowing. If you're a consumer startup, I would always say that you should use Let's Venture as a free marketing platform, because your information is now going out to 6,000 investors. A lot of investors could become your customers as you build out your company.
Thank you. Is there an upper and lower limit that you help startups raise? Is there like a minimum threshold and a maximum?
So minimum threshold according to the AIF is 25 lakhs. So you have to raise minimum 25 lakhs. The maximum is 10 crores, right? Okay. And we have done from the minimum to the maximum.
What is the average ticket size that startups tend to raise?
Yeah, average round sizes are anything from about 2 crores to about 4 crores. And since every investor comes through the cap table, AIF, and not on directly on the cap table, it does not matter the individual check size to the founder.
All right. I think that broadly, is all the questions that we had. You've been very impeccable and answered all of them. Thank you so much, Shanti. I really appreciate this. You taking the time out to do this. Thank you so much.
Yes.